Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector. So limited run is showing me more and more why I'm better off keeping my retro games. And when I say retro games, I mean more of the 90s era cartridge based games. Games that would have come out on the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Neo Geo, TurboGrafx 16, you know, even the NES in some cases. Limited Run is continuing to show me why I'm better off keeping that part of my collection, because I'm noticing that more and more the games that they're releasing they're just re-releasing games that came out back in the 90s. I recently posted a video talking about how they're going to be releasing the 3 Rocket Knight Adventure games. Of course, the original Rocket Knight Adventures, which came out on the Genesis in 92. Then they're going to be releasing Sparkster, and then I think Super Sparkster, which came out on the Super Nintendo. Now, those are all games that originally came out in the 90s. I remember playing them as a child, but Limited Run is re-releasing these games, and of course they're adding different spins, different modes, different little things that you can do that I don't want to say are gimmicky, but they're more so like novelty features. I don't really think that they add a ton to the overall gaming experience. And for me personally, I think I prefer just playing the original on the original hardware, because the real value in a lot of those games for me is the nostalgia factor. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're a child, or if you're someone who was born like in the year 2000, or maybe you were born in 2005, you may have never heard of Rocket Knight Adventures before. You may have never heard of Sparkster before. So to you, that's going to be a brand new game, and it's going to be something, it's going to be a brand new experience. So I guess in that regard, it's good that Limited Run is re-releasing these games so that the newer generation can experience games that I grew up on. But again, it just makes me want to keep my originals, because why am I going to pay for a Switch version of a game that I already have on its original console? And what I have here are 2 games that are going to be releasing they're going to be released by Limited Run, and I think they just started pre-orders on this today. So Limited Run is going to be coming out with a combo pack. It's going to be 2 games on 1 cartridge, and the first game is going to be Gley Lancer. Now, I've talked about Gley Lancer before. Gley Lancer is a very rare shoot 'em up. It's a side-scrolling shoot 'em up, which came out. Whoa! I keep dropping my games every time I talk about this game. I drop it, but it is a old school side-scrolling shoot 'em up game that came out in the 90s. It's a very fun game, and for me, the best thing about Gley Lancer is the music. Gley Lancer has some of the best shoot 'em up music I've ever heard, and I feel like the music that's on this game goes perfectly with just everything that you experience, all the levels. It's super fast paced. It has points in the game where you just feel like you're flying through. It has points in the game where you kind of slow down and you have to be real tactical. So Gley Lancer, if you're a shoot 'em up fan, sorry about that. But if you're a shoot 'em up fan, you're really going to like a game like Gley Lancer. Now, Gley Lancer is available for download on the Nintendo Switch. You don't have to get the physical copy. I downloaded Gley Lancer a while back, and I have it on my Switch Lite. That's that guy over there in the corner that hasn't been charged in a minute. But yeah, so I've had Gley Lancer. I've been playing it. I was playing it a lot, like almost every day a couple years ago. I can't remember if I beat it or not. I want to say maybe I beat it once or so. The cool thing about playing Gley Lancer on the Switch is that it does have a rewind feature. So if you happen to get struck by an enemy, and you get killed, you can just rewind it and kind of try to maneuver your way out of it, which is cool. I mean, it's basically almost like the same thing as having unlimited lives. I mean, if you can rewind time and reverse reverse getting shot down, then that kind of just makes it almost like super easy for you to beat the game. So for me, Gley Lancer is definitely a great game. Limited Run is going to be releasing it. I don't know if it's going to have all the features that are already available on the one that I downloaded for the Switch, but either way, it's great that this new generation can get to experience a game like Glaylancer. The second game that's on that combo pack is going to be this game. Now, the one that they're including in the combo pack by Limited Run is called Gurayang. I don't know how to say it. Somebody help me with the pronunciation down in the comments. But essentially, that game is the Japanese version of this game, which is Wings of War. Now, if you saw this game probably at a Goodwill, you might just walk by it like, oh, look, this game looks really cheesy because of how old school it looks and how just, I mean, look at the artwork though. Like, that's sick, man. That's like late 80s, early 90s artwork for you. That was before you could just hop on a computer and like create this digital image. No, dudes were really drawing and sketching and coloring in these like really interesting and weird looking creatures. And this is just classic 80s, classic 90s Genesis. Now, the characters in this game are very strange. You do play as this main character here, but this is Wings of War. And what you get on the Switch version is like I said, the Japanese version, which I think is called Guirong or Guirong. I don't know how you say it. But Wings of War is also a side-scrolling shoot 'em up. A very interesting one. Wings of War, it takes some getting used to, but this is a very dark side-scrolling shoot 'em up. Some of the enemies just look really weird and creepy. But it is a very, very cool game. And this is one that I remembered my brother playing, which is why I have it in my collection, because there's some nostalgia factor for me with this game, because I do remember my brother going at it. I do have this complete in box. And Wings of War is one of those games that's so old school. I mean, look at the cart. Just a plain old white cart. Nothing super special about it. You do have the instruction manual there. But believe it or not, Wings of War at one point was going for about 140 bucks, 150 bucks at one point. I don't know what Wings of War goes for now. I mean, these days, shoot, this might go for 70 bucks, maybe 80 bucks, but this is one of the more rare and expensive games on the Sega Genesis. So these are two pretty pricey games. Glaylancer is definitely more expensive. I'm not sure how much Glaylancer goes for now, but these two games together are easily over 300 bucks. And I guess the benefit of getting it on the Switch is that you'll get to experience both of these classic side-scrolling shoot 'em ups for $34.99. But for me, a person who already has the original carts, well, I guess this isn't the original Glaylancer cart. This is like a re-release or like a reproduction cart. I'm not sure if this is even licensed. I think this is licensed. But this is a reproduction cart that I picked up because I didn't want a physical copy of the game. I had gone to the Long Island Retro Expo back in like 2021 or 2022, where there was a guy there who was basically selling English versions of games that had been released in Japan, games that you can't really get access to here in the States. And while he was there, I picked up this copy of Pulseman. And I wouldn't be surprised if Limited Run released this next. I mean, I'm almost willing to bet that Limited Run is gonna release Pulseman. Pulseman is a game that came out overseas back in the day. We never got to see this game, but this is a really, really cool game. If you've never heard of Pulseman, check it out. This is a cool one. Kind of reminds me, it kind of reminds me of like Sonic and like Ristar or Ristar at the same time. But very cool game. But the same gentleman who had Pulseman had basically a reproduction version of Glaylancer. And I think there was a gentleman who was like in line ahead of me, and he picked up the last physical copy that he had. So when I saw that they were releasing this physical copy of Glaylancer, I wanted to get it because I do enjoy playing that game. And this actually comes on a Sega Genesis cart, so I can play this on my Sega Genesis. But Limited Run is coming out with this, and they're coming out with it on the Switch. I think there's going to be one for the PS4, and if I'm not mistaken, you can also get it on the PS5. But when I see things like that, it just makes me feel like there's no originality. Like, what's going on? Like, are folks running out of games to make? Like, is it that, new games aren't being made? Is it that developers are no longer developing these types of games, and therefore Limited Run just has to re-release older Sega Genesis games. I don't know. To me, it's kind of interesting. But the more I see this trend happening on the Switch and on more modern consoles, it really makes me want to just hang on to the originals that I have, because we just saw a limited run released Rocket Knight. Now they're releasing Glaylancer and Wings of War, or Guirong, or however you say that name. They're re-releasing it, and to me it's just interesting, and I'm interested to know what you think. Do you think it's better to keep the original cartridges and can continue to play these games on their original systems, or do you like what Limited Run is doing in terms of re-releasing these older games on the Switch, on the PlayStation 4, and on the PlayStation 5? Like I said, it's a great way for the newer generation to be able to experience these games, but is the newer generation interested in games like this? I'm curious to know what you think. Leave your comments down in the comment section below. I'm the Y2K Collector. And be on the lookout for the video that I'll be putting out this week. I'll be doing more of my more long-form formal videos, which never get viewed. But I'm going to continue to do them because eventually they will catch on. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Also, you can find me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram as y2kcollector.yt. That's y2kcollector.yt, and you can find me there on Instagram. That's my Instagram handle. It's so much easier to get a hold of me and reach me there, and it's easier for me to connect with my subscribers there. But thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking me out. Again, let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you like what Limited Run is doing with the modern consoles, re-releasing these older games on modern consoles, or do you think it's better to play them on the original hardware? I'm interested to know what you think. I'm the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.